So the next topic is improving workforce knowledge and efficiency with electronic O&M systems and operator logs. With that is one of the presenters, Tom Tyler, MDC. Tom Tyler is the Director of Water and Wastewater Facilities for the MDC in Hartford. He has over 30 years of experience and is licensed Class 4 operator in Connecticut. I'm sure his bio is longer, but he's stepping in for somebody else. So there was a bit of a change. There's also Shannon Meany. Shannon Meany is a water resource engineer at Arcadis with 5 years experience with background in information management and process mechanical design. She obtained her Bachelor's of Science degree in civil engineering, as well as 2 minors in construction management and urban design and architectural studies from New York University. Follow that is Len Seckler from Arcadis. He's a professional engineer and associate vice president at Arcadis with 23 years of experience who brings knowledge and experience delivering asset management, information management solutions to water and wastewater utilities. He obtained his Bachelor's of Science degree in civil engineering and environmental engineering from Cromwell University and his Master's of Science degree in environmental engineering from Tufts University.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Tyler. I'm the Director of Facilities and Maintenance at the Metropolitan District. Jeff Bowers was scheduled to come and give part of this presentation this morning. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us today, but he says hi to everyone. So we embarked upon this project a couple years ago. I think we've spoke at some of the other NUI events and the management forum that we hold. So some of you may have heard some of this before. But we're going to give you just a little overview. I'll talk very briefly about the district, and then Shannon and Len will kind of get into the details of our system. So for those of you that don't know, the Metropolitan District, we're the water sewer agency serving the greater capital region. We were formed in 1929, but a lot of our infrastructure predates our formation date in 29. So we have some pretty old stuff. Some of our infrastructure has celebrated its 100th anniversary and beyond. So we provide those services in the greater Hartford region, 8-member towns. We have a lot of historical info. Clearly won't go into that today, but if you're at all interested in the historical aspect, our staff, we've been working part-time with a historian. We've made some tremendous documentaries. We have a YouTube channel. You can go on and check out the MDC water and wastewater history, a lot of really neat old construction photos. And so we've been working hard to document our history because, like many organizations, we have a lot of folks that have worked there a lot of years and they're gearing up for retirement, and when they leave, all their knowledge leaves, and as well as they're the ones that know where all the old stuff is. So we're trying to document everything. So we have a lot of that stuff available online. So one of the problems when we started our clean water program a couple years ago, this is a $2+ billion mandated program to update our treatment facilities, wastewater treatment facilities, and our collection systems, stop SSOs, reduce CSOs, and all that controls. So we knew going into it that the volume of information that we would generate from this project is very, very significant. And we wanted to get away from the notebook on the shelf. Someone takes the 2 pages out that are really important. The rest of the 3-ring binder is worth nothing. It sits on the shelf forever. And when that person loses the 2 pages they pull out of the notebook, what do? Well, you talk to somebody who thinks they know about it, and they heard from somebody who kind of remembers something, and 3 years later, nobody knows how to do things. So we wanted to capture everything digitally that we've done. And for some of the engineering documents, that's no big deal. They produce everything, the plans and specs, they're all digital. So holding on to them in a digital format isn't so bad. But a lot of the other information, like the O&Ms, we wanted to be able to capture them. We wanted to capture training information. SOPs, we're now doing lockout, tagout procedures. So everything that you need to understand, to operate and to maintain the facility we wanted to capture, because we all know, right, everyone now carries around some form of device, right? Everything is digital, and we've become pretty connected to those devices. So we wanted to have a platform that we could use immediately to have all this information readily available, but also when we have that next generation that's coming in and we're starting to get some of those newer workers, they're raised on a digital platform. They don't want to go and pull out the 3-ring binder. They don't know what the 3-ring binder. I had a discussion last night, 20-year-old son, soon to be 21, junior in college, talking about some of his data. He's an engineering student, and my wife mentions an adding machine. And he's like a calculator? She's like, no, an adding machine. So like this current generation, you know, it's so digital, had no idea that there was actually a machine that they used to use where you punch the buttons and the little scroll of paper came out. So we wanted to have a really good means to be able to access this, and this is what this project is. And so Len and Shannon are going to give you some details of it. But on behalf of the district, we want to let you know that we've benefited tremendously over the years from going to other utilities, gaining lessons learned about their construction projects and different things and pieces of equipment. And so we offer that. If you're at all really interested in this and you want to come to our facility at Hartford, we have some tremendous infrastructure. We're very proud of it. We'd love to show it to you. But if you want to see this system in use at the treatment plant, you know, please get in touch with myself or Jeff Bowers or any of the Arcadis folks who've been wonderful partners with us on this project, and we'd be happy to have you come to the facility and you know, we'll show you how we use this on a day-to-day basis. So with that, I'll turn it over to Len.
Thanks very much, Tom. So this electronic O&M system is very much, you can think of it as a portal to all the content that you may have about your facility. And as Tom mentioned, there's lots of facilities at Hartford, at the Hartford Water Pollution Control Facilities, a lot of different facilities, a lot of different equipment. So there's a lot of information to capture. And so here's an example of some of the content that is contained within the electronic O&M system. There's equipment vendor manuals, process-based O&M chapters that Shannon will show you in the demonstration in a few moments, standard operating procedures, alarm lists, lots of photographs of the equipment to get everybody really familiar and understanding exactly what equipment there is, training videos, as Tom mentioned. Every time there's new equipment that comes online at the Hartford facility, the vendor training is videotaped and then archived and uploaded into the website so that all the operators have access to it and can benefit from it, whether or not they sat through it the first time around live, or maybe it's a new operator who wasn't even there when the training occurred a year ago, can now go back and look at all the training videos on that equipment. So it's a really good practice that they've started to do really as a standard practice now. Operator logs. Hartford is, MDC is actually probably the first utility that we know of in the state of Connecticut that are doing operator logs electronically. So in the past they had, they still have about 8 or 10 different operator logbooks at the Hartford plant, and previously they had to go around and understand what was going on at the plant. They're all paper format. Now it's all electronic. They can query what's going on in any one of the logbooks and have real easy access to all that information online. Drawings and such as well at their fingertips. So really the goal of the project was really to effectively manage all this information, have a single point of information for staff, easy access and document retrieval, and also support their workforce. And they have a rotating operator training program or operator training where they may have operators rotate through different process areas of the plant. So this is also used as an opportunity or to help train operators who may be less familiar with in a particular process area. They have them access a lot of the documents and information about that process area up on this that's available right here at the in the system. So it's really used as a nice training tool as well for staff. Some of the success factors, critical success factors, are shown here. We developed some standards early on in the project. You'll notice during the demonstration in a moment that all the information are all categorized in different tabs across the top, and it's the same set of tabs. So it's very standard. So if you're looking for information, you know exactly where to find it. It's all very standardized in terms of how it's organized. We had a number of workshops with the operators to understand, you know, what kind of functionality they wanted, get their buy-in on the system to make sure it would be used very effectively by them. Also, utilizing technicians for early adoption was also another key thing. We found that there were some operators that were very tech savvy and very interested, and we utilized and leveraged those to really get that early adoption and get a lot of interest and excitement around the system. And then the system actually is quite easy to use, and even those that were not quite as tech savvy found it to be very easy to use and be able to use the system, and we'll show you in a second. And one other thing I wanted to point out as far as a success factor is that we're able to incorporate specifications into engineering design documents so that the content that was coming in was in a format, a very standard format that can then be easily uploaded into the system. And so that would make it just a lot more efficient in terms of getting the information in and uploaded into the system. And that's another success factor that allows us to really get that information available to folks quickly. So I'm going to turn things over to Shannon in just a moment. This is the website. This is actually a test site, and folks are welcome to jump onto this test site. Or scan the QR code. You could certainly take a picture of this slide. It'll appear at the end as well. And there are some some credentials that are on the bottom, username and password, that we'll make available over the next couple of days. So if you wanted to kind of poke around on your phone or back at the office, you're welcome to kind of take a closer look at it as well. So we appreciate the district making that available. This is, as I mentioned, it's a test site. It's not their live site, so we're not really impacting any of their core systems there. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Shannon.
Thanks, Len. So I'm just going to walk you through the site. So this is the site. This is the main screen. This is the Hartford plant. The site has the ability to support multiple facilities, so we can go and we can view select plant, and we can see there's Pequannock, East Hartford, Hartford, Rocky Hill. So say you worked at Rocky Hill and you wanted to log into the Rocky Hill site. You can set that as your default plant, so every time you log on to the EO&M system, you'll see Rocky Hill. Here on Hartford, this is our overview graphic. You can see as we scroll over the overview, we highlight different process areas. So as you scroll over secondary treatment, all these sub-processes will show up. As you scroll over UV disinfection, you'll see our UV disinfection, heat recovery. So it's interactive right here. So as Len mentioned, these are our authored content chapters. These give a lot of good information on the process. So we have different tabs across the top. They're all standardized. They all are the same for each different process area. So we have a theory section. This gives a good overview of the process as a whole. If you're unfamiliar with the process and you want to learn, just a good narrative to read about learning about UV disinfection. So we have system description tab. This holds a lot of record drawings, holds specs. You can go in right here. You can click on the drawings. And we have a operations tab. It all goes through the normal operations, alternative operations of the process. If there's a manual mode or automatic mode. We have our SOPs, as Tom mentioned. They're all listed here. So if you need a refresher, if seasonal startup only happens once a year and you want to learn about the SOP, the operating procedure, you can pull it up easily right here. It's all the same for every process area. They all are listed in their SOPs tab. We have a design criteria tab. This has a lot of good information on the system, design of the system, a lot of technical information. We have design flows, peak flows, temperature minimum and maximums. We have tables for each piece of equipment in the system. So we have UV modules, we have all the instrumentation, we have the gates. So the O&M, the vendor O&Ms are also linked here for each piece of equipment. So you can go through, if there's a pump that you want to see the O&M manual for, you can go and find it there. And all those training videos that Len mentioned, the MDC videotapes, they're vendor training. So if you missed a training session and you want to go in and you view it, you can find them all right here in this trainings tab, all organized. You can press on them and they'll come up and you could watch it. So it's all right here. So that's one way to find information on the site. Another way to go in and view some information, you can go and you can search for specific documents on the site. Every document is uploaded with certain attributes. So say we wanted to go in and find those SOPs for at the Hartford plant for the UV disinfection. We can go in and we could select those tags and we could just search those documents for those documents. And they're all right here. Those are the 8 SOPs that we saw listed in the